We got the wide shot.
There was. You had accountability. Now, what I can.
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where? Give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently, there's a foo-foo page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live at Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
trust a human to raise back wolves.
Before I would trust a pack of humans to raise wolves.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. I'm your host, Michael Reggie, as always, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings. Clifford, how you doing today?
What up, fools? I'm cooling.
How's your week been?
Long and drawn out.
Yeah.
Long and drawn out, and I'm paying for it today.
I feel like the entire
tired and drained.
I feel like the entire country could probably relate to that right now. And I mean, I don't want to hear the "I told you so," but I'll wait for it.
I won't say it. It ain't over yet.
It's not. I think people have realized what that threat is now. I think it's interesting, but it's all good. It's all good. We'll get into that a little bit more after we give the show a chance to breathe a bit.
All right.
Oh, goodness gracious.
How was your week?
It was all right. Getting back into the swing of things at work is always, a little challenging.
What you mean getting back into the swing of things? It wasn't like you was, from the holiday.
Right.
Huh?
So I took time off. So I had 2 weeks off and just getting back into things. Getting things spun
Lucky
up. So,
you.
Privilege. I get it.
Listen, all that.
And then I'm taking next week off. So big day today. We closed on the house.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we'll be moving over the course of the next week, and next show will be not from the Citadel Studios here on Wilson Avenue, but it will be from the dungeon. And
Let's get it.
We'll make it work. Good news is we still got a space to do it. So that'll be next couple of days just moving stuff, and I think I'm gonna start off tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get all the equipment over there, so maybe Sunday you and I can get together and start to wire some shit up and make sure we got cables off the floor and, make it look nice, all that good stuff.
Listen, yeah. I'm with it, baby. Just let me know something.
Will do. So, man, you got any inadvertent thoughts to get us going this week?
Inadverts, huh?
Yeah. You know how we start the show every week.
Right.
Or try to, I guess.
I feel like you asked me that question too soon. Because I had a couple. Well, not really a couple, but... Okay. So one, and this is just me being, I don't know what it is, right?
Cliff
so
being ignorant. All right.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So when they say, like, when somebody's like, you know what I mean, nitpicking and shit, and you're being anal about something. What exactly does that word mean?
I think that's actually just a short of analyzing. Like you're analyzing.
That's what I thought,
too much.
Right? That's exactly what I thought. That's
Right.
exactly what I thought.
You're being an analyst. You don't need to let it go. And then it just got shorted to anal, which became anal.
Okay. Because I said that.
Or it could mean talking to you about this subject makes me feel like I'm taking it up the butt. Where's my foolish origin for it?
Well, I don't want to use that word anymore.
Oh man.
Well, damn. Okay. Okay.
But I do think it's the former, not the latter.
That's what I thought as well. Okay. Now, because I can't remember the context or what the situation was, but I remember I was at work with my boss and my boss's boss.
Got it.
And I said it about something.
Something your boss's boss was saying.
No, I know I did. Now I know I did say that. Now that I will admit to, because I know I did probably say it to one of them. Like, you're being real anal about this.
This thing that you obviously feel is not as big a deal as they were making it out to be.
Right. And she said you probably shouldn't. Not like, not like. It was just like. It was like casual, like, you probably shouldn't, use those words.
Right. It was a coaching moment. It wasn't a reprimand.
Right. And and I took it in and it made me think like, well, wait a minute. What are the differences that this could mean in this situation? Because I was always under that impression that it was the simplified version of you're being real analytical. You're analyzing.
Right. Absolutely.
The situation.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like I was saying to them. You know what I mean?
It wasn't like you were saying talking to you is making me feel like I'm taking it up. That's not your intent there.
I wasn't talking about my butts or their butts. Or no butts were involved.
There were no butts involved.
The only but was let me tell you how I really feel, okay? I understand what you're saying, but...
Right, but...
That's the only but that was involved in the conversation. It just kind of took me back and made me feel like, wait a minute, do I not know?
What that means?
Right. Right.
I do not think that means what you think it means.
Right. It just took me back, and listen... I don't know if it was so much an inadvertent thought as I just needed to hear from somebody else
to make sure you weren't crazy about it.
Or...
Yeah, I got you. No, you're right.
I don't want to make it sound like the person I was speaking to was like at my throat or anything like that. It wasn't anything like that.
No, it was just more like, casual. Like, that's not, and maybe it was more that's not the way you address a superior kind of deal. I don't know. Like, maybe that was more the intent.
That could have been what they were trying to say, but I've been at that job for three
and you were entitled to your opinion and how you talk about it.
It's not even that. It's like, if that's the way you felt, I'm 3 years in.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Like, you should have nipped that in the bud very long ago.
A long time ago.
But the only reason why you don't is because half the time I'm right. You know what I mean? I'm bringing something to your attention as opposed to you. You know what I mean?
I mean, I learned that from a boss in my first kind of quote unquote professional gig. You can get away with a lot if you're good at your job.
Right. I say that to Malk all the time. Once you're good at your job, you can, kind of loosen up the reins a bit, start doing you.
Right. Absolutely.
Especially if you can prove the reasoning as to why you did what you did. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, and I look at that like I look at, like Steve Austin and like The Rock in WWE. The reason their characters were so good was because it was just amplified versions of themselves.
Right.
And the best way for you to deliver effectively if you're in a job that you actually like or actually care about is for people to let you be you. Right. Provided it's not, completely out of the realm of professionalism or whatever.
Right.
But,
nah,
you know what I mean?
Crazy. You know what I mean? I need to pay these your bills.
Right.
But I am going to tell you when I feel like you're making me feel like I'm taking it up the butt.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Oh, man. So we got a couple of things coming in. Couple things coming in the chat, so I got a couple birthday messages. Thank you all. I appreciate it. It's been a nice day on nice day on Facebook and all that. And I know Cliff was trying to be respectful and not put it out there, so I appreciate
I bring
that
it up
too.
privately, you know.
I appreciate that too. But thank you for those that are sending it out in the chat. And then Caleb.
But where's y'all motherfuckers on my birthday?
They don't like you. This
like
just goes to prove that the people that watch our show are my friends. And then, so Caleb's asking the question. So the start of this episode is Mike teaching Cliff about anal. So that was good.
Oh, my twin, my brethren. Oh, man.
Oh, dude.
That's funny. That laugh woke me up a bit.
Well, we got a lot going on today.
Oh, that's funny. What about you, sir? What was that?
I've got a video coming in. We'll see how she feels about. I won't be able to show it, but I'll play it and you can hear it. So let's see what this person has to say.
Happy birthday. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait until we can all
I know who that is.
place and pop some bubbly to celebrate another year, a new home, lots of love, laughter, and a lifetime full of friendship. So I love you. Happy birthday. And cheers.
There we go. Appreciate it.
Isn't she sweet?
She is a sweetheart. She gave me a call today and everything, so that was nice of her.
That's what's up.
Man, oh man.
Well, don't try to skate through the inadvertence, G. What you got? Don't try. Listen.
Well, the problem is that all right. So I got one that's funny, and I've got one that's a little more disheartening. But they're both tied to the fact that we've been watching. What is it? Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland, Jack Bauer.
Oh yeah, about when he takes over as
president.
Like
yeah.
That.
And it won.
The extended 24.
Right, exactly. And I keep saying
political life.
Jack Bauer comes out in bits and pieces in that show, and it's funny.
I bet.
But so my original thought is because there's one point where his kids are like, we can't have a normal life. You know, we can't make friends. We can't have the son is like, I can't have a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And it got me thinking, I'm like, that's why Obama ran for office in the first place, was to keep Sasha and Malia away from boys.
You think?
For 8 years. He got to lock them up and be able to control what they were doing.
But see, nah, G, that's the fucked up thing about it is, I mean, as a dad of a daughter myself, I feel like those are the times that you need to be in their head and with them to make them feel comfortable with you. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Those are the times you need to ease them into the adulthood to let them know you can fuck up. I expect you to, but don't, do too much. So have fun and enjoy yourself, but just don't rock out with your cock out. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like now they're expressing themselves like LeBron James' son when he showed himself on live smoking weed.
Right.
The little girl did the same thing. What's her name? The oldest one. She did the same thing.
Is that Malia?
I don't want to get the names.
Yeah, I can't remember which one's which either. I just know.
But it seems to me that's a common thing with a young child that feels pent up. Like I have to keep
show out.
Not even. Or now I can show out that you're not over me. You know what I mean? I had to keep my collar buttoned up so tight under you for so long that now I get a chance to just breathe. And this form of breathing is smoking a blunt on live.
On Instagram or Twitch.
You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. And I mean, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? You're an adult. Bronny's different, you're still a child, but at the same time, like, let's be honest, you're handling your business. You know what I mean? Your grades are good. You're good on the court. You're handling your business. I gotta wave my finger at you.
Don't do that.
Right. But at the same time, it's like shit. I mean, just don't do it on fucking TV. I guess shit. If you're gonna do it.
Right. Keep that shit to yourself. You can get away with
Because
doing
let's be honest, we know LeBron does too.
Right.
We know his wife does too.
Right.
We know all that. And if you want to say allegedly, you can, but we've seen it on TV. We know what the deal is.
No doubt.
Did you see that clip?
No.
You haven't seen that? It's old as hell.
Is it?
They was at like a baseball game or something, and I can't even remember her name. His wife, she was hitting the blunt at the baseball game, and she tried to pass it to him, and he seen that they put the camera on him, and he was like, put her hand down, like, no,
no,
then she,
don't do that.
She looked up and was like, that shit was funny as hell. That shit was funny as hell. I'm sure you can right now.
I'm sure.
It was funny though, but regardless, that's why I feel like if you go into the presidency, those were those vital years where those girls are.
Yeah,
I'm sure, like, you know what I mean? No funny shit. I'm sure they became women in the White House. Right. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean that in a
maturity way in terms of, and honestly, they probably missed some elements of childhood growing up in that environment.
I'm sure that as well.
So,
I'm sure that as well.
So that was the inadvertent thought watching that. The other one was, and this will lead us into our first topic.
Mm-hmm.
The plot lines in the second season cannot compare with reality right now.
Of the designated survivor.
Yes.
That they can't compare?
They cannot. There's no mob taking over the Capitol building in season 2 of Designated Survivor, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see. You know how you know how I feel about that. To be honest, that whole situation, I'm pretty indifferent on.
I hear you, and I know we've kind of talked about this, and even last week you were like, you mentioned, you didn't think there would be a peaceful transition of power. I'm sorry to admit that you were right. I think the piece for me has been, and I think I saw you comment about this on Facebook, like people talking about the dichotomy between how the Black Lives Matter protesters were treated versus how those folks were treated.
Right.
I think the big thing that conversation distracts from is that Capitol Police and DC Metro were complicit.
Right.
They let them in.
Right.
They were under orders from Trump. We are fortunate for our government at this point that there were loyalists or loyal to Congress Capitol officers in the building. And they were the ones that barricaded the doors and shit. And that was probably Secret Service too. But the Capitol Police flipped, as did DC Metro. They let these people in. And had they joined them with their service weapons, we're talking like we're in the middle of a new government right now.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't even think that it's not. Do you think that that would be the case though, regardless, that if you overthrew the Capitol building, that's a new government?
I mean, if you eliminate Senate and congressional leadership, I'm talking about if they had executed who was in, like, basically in the building.
Oh, I see exactly what you're saying.
Like, had the Metro Police and Capitol Police not just let them in, but actually actively participated with their firearms, that could have been a massacre of an entire branch of our government.
I don't think so, though. I think that people are thinking about it too.
Oh no, this is the zeros and ones of it, dude. You can't tell me that the plan was. All right, wait a minute. Yes, you can. So here's my how I am reading the situation.
Right.
Trump tells Capitol Police and DC Metro and his cronies, now that he's implanted at the Department of Defense, oh, this isn't going to be a big deal. We're just going to scare them. And his supporters, and his belief was that his supporters were willing to see it through. The problem is, in the words of 90s rappers, his supporters are pussies. And didn't really bring the weaponry that they talk about the fact that they have online all the time. Had they brought the weapons that they claim to always be saying we're going to unleash, this would have been a different situation. The problem that we run into is Trump felt that his supporters had the balls to do it and actually see it through, and his supporters thought that Trump had a better plan.
But see,
And if
here's
this
the
had been
thing.
executed by somebody that wasn't a fucking idiot, we would be having a much different conversation right now.
But here's the thing, because not to take. So I want to get my thought out, but you know that people have called for that now, though another wave of this, but a violent one.
Well, but the problem is now people are going to be prepared.
Right. Now here's the thing though. With that, like I understand what you're saying, that if whatever happens to anybody in that Capitol, but that means nothing. Even if Trump could have pulled that off and got a whole new cabinet, at that point though, that's when you see if there's no even if about it. That's when you really see a civil war. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and
because
you see, go ahead.
You're even splitting the military down the middle. Everybody's not rocking like that, and they're like, well, wait a minute, now I gotta fight for a Hitler now, and you're gonna see people secede
Absolutely.
or leave and be like, I'm not on that. If that's what it.
He may have installed people at the Department of Defense. He did not install people at every branch of the military.
So what I'm saying
and we
is
have heard from Biden. Biden has flat out said that he's got the backing of basically every military leader outside of the Department of Defense, that should he win the election a fair election, that they would back him to basically eliminate him.
And I'm sure, and that's what I'm saying. So this is all just a temper tantrum at best. You know what I mean?
Well, and that was my comment.
But at the same time, here's what I'm saying. This is why I said I'm indifferent about it, because a lot of people are starving and hurting right now.
Agreed.
You feel what I'm saying? A lot of people have been starving and hurting for a good long time now. And what Trump represented to lower middle to lower America is the opportunity to turn this shit inside out from the inside,
right,
and give them hope.
Yep.
Now, if someone was to offer me that, right, and I felt like
that they were legitimate,
right, and they were halfway showing and proving what they said they would do,
right, if they were sincere and you saw results from it,
I can't say that I wouldn't be one of those radicals as well.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's why I'm not so quick to call a motherfucker a terrorist or anything like that, because people are hurting. And the long and the short is, the government has been taking advantage of motherfuckers for a good long time now. And it's good to see a fire lit under their ass to let them know it's not just them though. You feel what I'm saying?
It's your whole point around, we as a generation of Americans need to have our feet kicked off the coffee table.
Period.
Right. And I respect,
it's not just those people though. It's not just the Trump supporters. It's just those are the only ones that are riled up enough to want to go.
Right.
Why? I don't understand, because I thought it would have been even better if everybody would have showed up, and instead of just rushing it, saying, listen, shit's gonna change now, or we are coming in. Right. All of us are coming in. And at that point, there is nothing you can do. And at that point, the police and the National Guard have a question. They have the question on their hands. Are we going to come up down there and show force against those people the same way we did at a George Floyd event?
Yeah.
Because then if that's the case, those white people get a rude awakening. Oh, they're willing to do that to us too.
Right. But I that's where I do want to call out the false equivalency there, is that because Trump commands a good portion as part of the executive branch of DC military and DC police forces, not an equivalent, because he was going to let his buddies in, and the people who are loyal to him in those departments were going to let his buddies in. That's not to say that had that been a Democratic mayor in that, or not a mayor, but a Democratic president, and there were Trump supporters at the door, you might have seen the same result of a George Floyd, you probably wouldn't have, but you probably would have seen more of a pushback than what happened here. And the fact that they are trying to say that, oh, the reason that we didn't push back was because of the summer protest where you all got upset with us, that's why we didn't come out in force in this one. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That is complete and utter bullshit. You are full of shit. You didn't come out because you are a white supremacist organization to begin with. And when you've got white supremacists knocking on the door, you're fine to let them in. Period.
Right. We can work this out. We speak your language.
What is it? The okay, all that shit. Like, get the fuck out of here.
We speak your language. We can. That's like a. Listen. An angry black person are always talking out with an angry black person faster than talking out with an angry white person. You hear them? Because I can speak your language. This language I don't speak, and it's starting to irritate me.
Right.
Your aggression is starting to irritate me, and then that's when problems happen.
No doubt. So
it's the same thing on the other side. An angry white person can always talk it out with an angry white person, but when it comes to an angry black person, you need a mediator there.
You don't have the common ground there.
Right, you need a mediator. You need somebody that's like, hold on, wait a minute, let me explain.
hold up, wait.
Right.
Let him finish.
Right, you know what I mean? Did you see matter of fact, it's a World Star video of a white dude that pulled the gun out on a black dude. And another black dude walked up and seen it. I think the black dude was wrong, because I think what happened was he stopped his car in front of dude's driveway, and dude was trying to tell him to move because he was in the driveway, and dude started getting like buck, like trying to like act like he wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
And the white dude up strap on him like,
get the
back
fuck
up,
out.
You're in front of my shit. And the black dude was like, well, do it then. You know what I mean? And
we're in stand my ground territory now.
Right. You're right. The other black dude was like, hold up. No, we don't need to do all that. He hugged both of them. He was like, let me give you a hug. And the white dude let him give him a hug, but he kept his gun on the other dude, like, and then he hugged the other dude. He calmed it down, but that's what I'm saying. It's not you need a mediator, and we don't have a good mediator. There can't be this Democrat and Republican without a referee in between.
Well, and that's where I actually think that Biden is going to be that referee. Honestly,
I don't think.
But here's the thing: is that he is such a
he already
centrist.
has so much disdain for that side in the first place.
But that's the thing.
I don't see him being.
But
I understand what you're saying.
He's a centrist. He is not going to push the radical. Like everybody's saying, he's going to bring the radical left to bear. He's not. He's not. He won't. He won't.
I don't think that.
In fact, you will probably see more bipartisan support for things over the next 4 years than you probably will in the last 15 and the next 15. So I think it'll be interesting.
I hope you're right about that.
I mean, we'll see, but the flip side of that is Democrats are running the show for the next at least 2 years. So we'll see what happens.
That's the prediction I'm not in on. Why you say 2 years?
Well, you've got the midterm elections. So we'll see what that. Hold on 1 second. I hear you, bud. Mm-hmm. Take care. Love you.
Bye. Good night, big man.
Uncle Cliff says good night. He says good night.
Well, I'm not going to sleep, Joe.
But anyway, so that's my hope. But at the flip side of that is, my mom actually reached out and she's like, well, I know you're going to be talking about this. Like, what's your take on civil disobedience in general? And I think my take on it is it's always going to be subjective in terms of what the right and wrong things to do when it comes to being civilly disobedient.
Right. Now, that's the question. Like,
what is okay? What's not okay? And I would say
this is my whole thing too. Is that it's so hard to the United States has done such a good job at setting up this capitalist structure that it's almost to the point that there's a split. There's that middle class split, right? Where the upper middle class are almost brainwashed to what goes on around them because they're comfortable in their situation. You feel what I'm
Why
saying?
you got to talk about me like that, Cliff?
Well, listen, what I mean, but at the same time, you've seen both.
True.
You've seen both ends. You know what I mean? It's
True.
not like you've just been that way entirely.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is that portion just doesn't understand the lifestyle of this portion and what they have to do just to make it day to day. You know what I mean?
No, this gets into our
That they
same
think
conversation we had about credit.
that they think that things are okay. Like it's almost to the point that like that rich and poor. Let's be honest, because that's what they say. They said it about Dave Chappelle, didn't he say it? I think he said it about Trump and them. He said, yeah, he said it's not that he doesn't he doesn't like black or white. He doesn't like poor. Right. And that's what it is in this country where wealth and poor are just like black and white. You feel what I'm saying? There's no way that those two people will ever understand each other. That's why when a poor person gets money, they call him new money.
Right.
Because he doesn't know how to spend it. He's not us. He doesn't know what to do with that.
Well, the flip side of it is that the ultra wealthy actually don't spend money. They spend a very low portion of their income.
Right.
They hoard.
Right. Right.
Or they reinvest.
But at the same time, I'm just saying that it's easy for the country to be divided when they've set it up to where there's tinted windows to where you can't really see through on how either side lives if you're not on that side.
It's the have and the have-nots, and
right. You feel what I'm saying? And then the funny thing is there's subsidiaries to that where you're poor and black. Oh, that's fucked up. Oh, you're poor and black and you're a woman. That's even more fucked up in the business side. Oh, you're poor and you're black and you're a man. That's fucked up in the law side. Oh, right. You know what I mean? Or you're poor, black, and Mexican. We're going to send ICE after you.
Or you're poor, black, and trans.
I said poor, black, and Mexican.
Murdered on the street. Like...
all that. It's just so much to it that motherfuckers don't understand and will never understand. Like we could sit down and we could have a forum where everybody stands and we could talk until our voices gave out. We would never understand each other.
No.
That's just the long and the short of it.
Well, and that was supposedly the great American experiment, right? Is can you bring people of different colors, races, creeds, religions together and have a functioning society? And I said it, I think, earlier this year, and maybe the great American experiment is a failure.
I think you can. No, you can. But let's be honest, when that great American experience is run by devils.
Well, but that's the problem. Those with power will always eventually become corrupt. That's why we need things like term limits.
I don't know.
There are no Cliff, I love you. There are no philosopher kings. There aren't.
I think that's just as far as our history books go back. You feel what I'm saying? I think that's before they destroyed all the others. You feel what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. I do. I think the problem is without having a proof point, it's hard to say that that's ever been the case. I mean, you can find proof points kind of like that in the mythology of the Bible. But I
feel like there's proof points. I feel like there's proof points all around us. I feel like look at the decline of where we've been in just the past couple of decades, as opposed to how long the world's been around. You feel what I'm saying? We had conversations about time not being linear but circular. How do we know that they didn't already have all the shit going on back then aside from Wi-Fi and the internet that we have going on now, and there's nothing to prove it but the pyramids, and you know what I mean?
No, you're right. I think honestly the thing that always gets brought up in terms of this topic is that it's always the question is, has it always been like this and people were just ignorant to it because there wasn't the access to information that there is today?
Right, and that's always going to be, that's the what if, that's the
Right.
great question, you know what I mean?
Is that there's so
But
much information
but
to
let's
share.
be honest, it was on a decline long before the great wave of internet.
Starting with the world wars. I mean, the flip side of it is this world has been at war for all of written history. There has been conflict and there's been
and that's
war
why I said to the beginning of our history book.
I agree. But that's the reference points that we have is written history. And honestly, written history being written by the victors of the ones that history is written by the victors of the people that won. Who knows? There may have been plenty of great poor communities that were usurped by Western powers that eliminated.
I think there were great rich ones. You know what I mean? I think there were rich ones that got along, and shit wasn't too tough like
and they
that.
Just came up against a military that didn't give a fuck.
I feel like, or something. I mean, let's be honest. Like, we still talk about the great Atlantis, you know what I mean? And that was supposed to be where everybody, that was paradise, you know what I mean? They had it understood there, you know what I mean? Well, and that wasn't no poor shit. They had walls of water around, you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Like, so you have to understand, if you're operating like that, then that lets you know that there was a promised land. It just didn't exist. I don't know if it's once our history started taking over, and
I mean, Western history is one of empires and conquering, right? Let's face it, it's the Greeks, the Romans, the moving into Western and the British, and it's into the American empire and colonization, and
that's what
I think there's plenty that has happened. I mean, I am not a big Eastern history buff, so I don't have a lot to say there. And obviously, African history is muddled by the fact that it was
none of us know it
colonized by.
None of us know it.
The West.
None of us know it. You have to go to a small town deep in the bush and bring somebody that speaks the language because he lives there and still doesn't know that history that deep.
Right.
Nobody knows it. There's
places
so many
where there's just oral history that's been passed down from generation to generation since
the
dawn of
written. And motherfuckers don't know what's true. And that's why people, I don't know, maybe that's the power in it. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the power in it that you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know if that hoodoo and all that is really something that can touch you, or you don't know if somebody could blow dust in your face, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't know, because all of that history has been erased.
Right. No,
you don't know what they achieved before
it was erased.
Like the Cobra Kai. You don't know Miyagi-Do. You don't know who was teaching Miyagi-Do over there or who passed it down.
Well, we're gonna hold on that topic. But
you know what I'm saying?
we will get into that one a little bit deeper. So I do want to call out the chat. Got a couple of things coming through. So back to Biden. Uncle Dan chiming in, the moderate stance is a ploy, it won't last. Ashley chiming in with he's a centrist, definitely has the best chance of getting folks together across their party lines.
I could
Uncle Dan disagrees and says we'll see how left he is soon. Bipartisanship is an illusion, which honestly with the Democrats, the problem is Democrats cannot afford to not agree. If they do what Republicans have done for the last 4 years and do not manage to pass any meaningful legislation, their own party will turn on them. I got you. The other piece is, so Caleb chiming in with nothing's going to truly change till we get our Star Trek universe here, and no one does or has to care about money and focus on bettering oneself. I think the only way we'll ever see that is a near extinction event with the aliens showing up. That's the only way you'll see humanity kind of band together.
Because if we're in charge of that, even if people don't need money, even if people don't need money, they're still going to be poor and rich.
We will not get there on our own. I'm going to put that one out there. Uncle Dan also chiming in with America's always been like this. Rich landholders are in power, still are. The difference is now the power is not just with politicians. It's with the mythical concepts like a corporation is a person is what has the real power. And I think that that's partially true because I think you saw how many corporations have actually stepped up over the last 2 years and have basically said, no, this isn't the way it's going to be. And then Biden wins the election. Like when corporations turned on Trump and it was the technology sector and it was the biomedical sector and it was the entertainment sector and Trump was only backed by like old money in terms of coal and oil and what I would call old sector money. I think that's where you've seen the transition of power hasn't been between Trump going back to the Democrats. It's been the transition of power from old money around old industry like coal, oil, the GEs of the world, moving into new money with like the Elon Musks, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Googles, the Apples, etc. And I think that that's the biggest shift in our politics. Basically, over this 4 years of Trump, you're finally seeing the death of kind of old industry in favor of new industry. And new industry decided that Trump was not fit to be president, which is why you saw, and this is something that, Facebook's been criticized for. You saw Facebook dump a shit ton of money into Biden's presidential campaign, basically. Not directly, but in order to ensure that Biden was elected. And so I think that that's where things have been real interesting in terms of where things are going. So I'm with you, Dan, in terms of talking about...
my damn headset.
Oh, no. Talking about mythical concepts like a corporation is a person. Oh, man. So kind of circling back to the original tangent that we went off on here just because I promised I would talk about it in terms of civil disobedience. Because I think we started to talk about it a little bit, and then we went a little deeper on just like what we're expecting to see and all that. When it comes to civil disobedience, I think it's always going to be subjective. It's always going to be, in my mind, if you are fighting for an expansion of rights and not a restriction of rights, history will eventually be on your side. In which case, I'm actually more a fan of civil disobedience.
I think I can agree with that.
But I think civil disobedience is not trying to overthrow the government. Civil disobedience is making people's lives a pain in the ass without violence in order to change people's minds.
Well, wait, here's the thing though. How long do you let the government set up chess pieces to oppress before you say, are we going to have to come to a point of, you know what I mean?
Don't disagree, but I do think that we are at the precipice right now of a tipping point in order to see. I think there has been enough outcry, outreach, and minds changed. And obviously, half the country still voted for Trump, so that's not saying we've changed all the minds we need to. But I think you've seen enough changed minds that you will continue to see police departments gutted. And that's not to say that I'm anti-police, but I'm anti-policing. I think you will continue to see things gutted and kind of rebuilt from the ground up. And when people talk about things like defund the police, defund is about how do you take money away from them and put it in the hands of other civil servants, whether that's housing or mental health services or social services.
That should be the number one.
Right.
Y'all motherfuckers drive people crazy on purpose and don't provide people with the
help
shit
to
right. Like that shit's crazy. Here's a shot. We'll drive you crazy with that. Here's the fucking financial structure. We'll drive you crazy with that. Here's trying to find a job with a criminal record. We'll drive you crazy with that.
And you so if you're starting to have those kind of feelings, we do have another show on the podcast network.
That's right.
we have Mind and Body Understanding with Jeff Farian. It'll be back hopefully in the next week or two. We needed to take a little break. I only wanted to do one show this week with the move and everything, but we'll get Jeff's show back going. But you can check out Mind and Body Understanding on the Foolproof Entertainment Network with Jeff Farian, streaming every other week or so. Thank you.
You told Jeff once we get this dynasty set up, we'll have more than one producer that'll be able to take over if Mike's not available.
Right, no doubt, and we'll get there. But anyways, so I just wanted to make sure we circled back on that point. I wanted to give my kind of final thoughts on that. Cliff, anything else on this topic before we kind of shift gears and talk about Miyagi-san?
The whole
just everything we've talked about thus far, whether it's the capital situation, which I actually did we get your kind of take on that? I know I gave a big diatribe on it. I think you gave your take in terms of it wasn't that serious, but it was serious. I mean, my whole point on the capital situation was, regardless of how it was bumbled, it was I will disagree with you. I will say
it shouldn't have taken place is what it comes down to.
Right. And I will label it a terrorist attack. I will. Like, period. Because the idea was that they could use fear to change the vote and disrupt and ignore the will of the majority of Americans. Period. It was trying to use fear to change an outcome for political gain, which by definition is terrorism.
I mean, I could see that.
And honestly, the biggest thing for me is I was so glad to see people identify it as domestic terrorism. Like, I was glad to see the media, politicians, everybody identify it as domestic terrorism.
I just feel like myself, it's deeper than just a man.
I hear you.
It's deeper than just a man named Trump for those people as well. And whether he's the mascot for what they believe to be. Listen, black folks believe change to be Obama.
Right.
And when that came and passed and that wasn't the case, what I mean, you know what I mean?
And that's where we go with, in Obama's defense, you knew the first black man to be president wasn't going to be able to do any change.
We get it, but that's what you put your eggs in that basket.
And honestly,
when that basket doesn't take place, we get it though, because it was never our country to begin with. You feel what I'm saying? Now this is where you see white motherfuckers throwing tantrums, because it's like, this is my house and I don't want a new stepdaddy.
Right.
I want my daddy.
Well, and with all that being said, I will go on record on saying I hope Dan is right. And I hope Biden sweeps in with the liberal agenda. I just don't think it's going to happen. All right. So with all of that being said,
let's kick it to a new topic. How about that?
Let's kick it. Let's kick it. Let's crane kick it to a new topic. With Johnny, sweep the leg, Johnny. You ever heard that song?
No, I haven't.
There's a song out there. I can't remember who does it, but somebody did a song called "Sweep the Leg, Johnny." And the original music video was like the Karate Kid with Kreese telling Johnny to sweep the leg.
Right.
But man, Cobra Kai season 3, I will tell you, my first reaction, loved it so much more than season 2. And I know not everybody feels that way.
I did too. I'm still not a fan of the show.
You're still not?
I'm still not a fan of the show, but this was the best season yet. I will say that. I will say the storylines are great. I've seen better acting in porn. Honestly, though, it's produced by Bang Bus or some shit like that. Like, I don't fucking get it. It seems like it's done on purpose. You know what I mean?
And that's where I will say, let's face it, the guys that starred in Karate Kid didn't do a ton of stuff after Karate Kid. Like, they did a little bit, and they were popular maybe through the mid to late 80s. But after that, they kind of all fell off the face of the earth. Like, The guy that plays Johnny hadn't been in shit really. Ralph
LaRusso
Macchia
ain't
hasn't been in
shit.
half or much. And then the guys that played the bad guys like Kreese, like weren't really in shit either. So
Well, he was in the cut. He's been in more shit though because he has that look. Like he's been in some
he is
some
a type,
army movies.
he's somebody that gets typecast.
I can't think of right
as the old army vet, basically.
Yeah, I can't think of the movie that he's in. Oh well, though. But
yeah. So the season. So this is we will get into spoilers here. So if you haven't watched it and you plan on watching it,
right,
tune out now and come back in about 20 minutes when we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do for the rest of the show.
Oh, we all right.
But I mean, the season started off. I will be honest. I watched pretty much the whole season in 2 nights. That's how bought in I was. Like I was down. I was down with his daughter going through PTSD. I was down with what is it? Is it Miguel? What's his name? What's the character's name? Is it Miguel? No.
Which one? Miguel? Yeah, it is Miguel. Trying to learn how to walk.
Yeah, I was down with that whole storyline and how Johnny was like fucking things up, like setting him on fire, and he still didn't get up, and put him in like the crane or in the body crane where he lift him up, hoist him up, and try to make
all that is my dad. All that is my dad type shit.
Yeah.
My dad. I'm not gonna say he set my legs on fire, but he does.
Probably
shit.
Thought about it.
Listen, that's my dad type shit. Like we're not doing that weak shit. We're gonna try and get him right now.
Oh man, that shit was phenomenal. The introduction or making it 3 different dojos I thought was good. I thought Daniel-san going to Okinawa and kind of being greeted with like a modern Okinawa versus what he found the last time where he went during the movies.
That's what I will say about the 3rd season is that I loved is that the way they did the flashbacks was excellent. Excellent. The way they did the flashbacks to the actual movies, to the scenes of where that person showed up at was excellent. I thought that was great.
Well,
I did like that.
And I think they needed to because I think this show has reached beyond fans of the original trilogy.
Right.
Like
that
you're
was
not
us.
You're not
that was our generation.
Right. And were you I think you and I talked about this. You weren't a huge Karate Kid fan. Are you familiar with the whole trilogy or just the first movie?
Yeah. No, I remember I said I liked the first one. The second one, I think I said I liked more, and then after that, I stopped watching it.
So I think that was phenomenal.
The second one was when he beat the Chinese dude, wasn't it?
Well, Japanese because it's Okinawa, but yes.
Damn, right? And that was so ignorant of me, too. I just threw that bitch out there.
That one's phenomenal because that dude shows up, and you're like, oh, shit's about to go down. And then you find out his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend is basically like, oh, no, I invited him. You two need to work some shit out. And you, like, the fact that he learns that he didn't... First of all, the character of Daniel in the whole show, he's such an arrogant prick. And it goes back to, was he really the villain in the movies, like in the Karate Kid movies?
And you know what?
I know. That's how you felt.
I'm not going to say he was the villain. I'm just going to say you were pretty oblivious to how you came in and did all this shit,
Well, and we'll get to that.
Now I'm not going to say Johnny wasn't a dick. Right. Johnny was definitely a dick.
And I think, we should hold on that conversation because that's the end of the season. So the end of the season is like the girl from the first movie comes back
explaining,
and
right.
It's the funniest shit. It is the greatest shit to explain. Like, no, you were both pit pricks. But anyways, going back to Okinawa. So the bad dude who tried to kill him in the second movie, like literally tried to kill him, basically teaches him that Miyagi Karate had a whole set of things that he didn't know about, which I thought was fantastic.
I did too, like for the culture, like listen, Miyagi, now I don't know why he didn't. Maybe Miyagi thought I'm not gonna, because you got to think like Japan.
Right.
that's a whole different beast. You know what I mean? They stated themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if it wouldn't have been illegal for him to teach somebody of not of his culture those techniques.
Well,
now, I can teach you Miyagi-Do shit, but I can't teach you the deep Japanese.
Right.
You
well,
know
and
what
that's
I mean?
where I thought that the reason that Miyagi never taught Daniel that stuff is because he thought Daniel wasn't mature enough to handle it ever.
Right, because that's some killer shit.
Right. And so
that's some real life killer shit.
The fact that the Japanese dude basically says like, well, maybe you don't know everything, and that basically what was the mantra they used in that scene? It was like, the best way to stop an attacking enemy is take away his ability to attack. And I thought that philosophy was phenomenal. And then he teaches him like the pressure point shit and basically
that's
disables
boxing.
him, and he's just
that's boxing. It's just not pressure points. It's taking away their
take
strong,
away the air, take away
all that, take away their strong suits. The air is definitely a great one. Take away their what's their number one punch? You know what I mean? That's a great thing.
Right.
What's the punch that they keep going back to? Now avoid that specific punch, and that's probably going to set you up for something.
I think a lot of martial arts will teach that. And I think, honestly, that's the big thing with, like, MMA. How do you take away their strength? If you've got a striker, how do you take a striker's strength away? You take them to the fucking ground.
To the ground.
Right.
Somebody tall, getting close.
Right.
And that's what I be trying to teach these young boys. Don't be scared to get in close. Sometimes you got to approach the bear.
Right, exactly.
You can't run from him. You got to approach that bear sometimes. Get in there.
No doubt. So they are in, or Daniel's in Okinawa, and they've got a good reason for him to be there. Like, they did a good job in terms of setting it up that, like, his auto dealership's losing its deals and shit. Fine. So he went to go talk to the car manufacturers in Japan. But so he gets like the secrets of Miyagi-Do, like the deep shit. And I love how they did the callback of the Japanese dude basically disables his arm, disables his knee, and then he hits him with the
right. Right. I did. That made me feel good too.
That was my shit, and I love that shit in the. Like, because Miyagi does it to Kreese at the beginning of the second movie, and then Daniel does it at the end, and for that to be flipped on its head to get him at the end, like, you were so scared.
Is that what he did to Kreese?
That's what Miyagi did to Kreese after Kreese put his hands through the windshields.
He didn't do the things, though.
No, but he disabled him by making him punch the glass. Remember, the start of the second movie starts with them fighting in the parking lot, and Kreese puts his hands through two windshields. And then Miyagi basically drops him and acts like he's going to kill him.
Right.
And he goes, and just flips him over.
Right.
And then Daniel does the same thing at the end of the second. So
yeah, I remember that.
I also liked how, like, Robbie basically got set up to go to jail. That was good. I like how they actually addressed the fallout of the fights. Like, Robbie and the one girl on the Cobra Kai side both ended up, like, on probation or in jail or in juvie or whatever. The rich white girl did not end up in juvie.
Right. You know how that go.
So I just thought they addressed
the reason why the Hispanic didn't
was because he was in the hospital.
Exactly. And let's be honest, I know a lot of black folks that have gone to jail straight from the hospital. I've actually been threatened with it myself.
So I don't know. Like, I just felt like they addressed everything that they set up in season 2. And so as we said earlier, we'd hold for a minute. We get towards the end of the season, and Allie, the girl from the first movie, shows up after Johnny's been flirting with her online. I'm like, there's no way they're going to get that girl.
He doesn't want her. And that's what I was saying. I am so glad. Spoiler, of course, we've been spoiling. I am so glad that the Caruso's wife. Well, beyond that, I'm glad that LaRusso's wife told the girl about the Hispanic girl. Because he would have did that shit if...
He was thinking about it. I mean, they almost kissed the one time, right? Shit. They
he would
almost
have
kissed
done
the one
that
time,
shit.
and after
He
the
has-
night, because all of the scenes with the girl from the first movie take place after he's slept with Miguel's mom. So he helps Miguel learn how to walk again, sets up the new dojo basically, and then he fucks Miguel's mom, and then he goes on a date with Allie like the next night. And I'm like, funny, that's how I ended up with the Allie that I was with for a little while.
Oh shit! You stupid.
That was for a joke. That was for a joke.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
So he ends up. So Allie comes back into the picture, and you see Johnny and Allie just like hit it off for a day, and then they end up. Then they end up at the country club where Daniel flipped his shit in the first movie after he and Allie had gotten together, and he saw Johnny and Allie together in the country club. And now, like, the entire roles are reversed. Like, Daniel is a member of the country club, and Johnny's kind of on the outside because he's kind of a deadbeat. And you expect there to almost be the reverse of the movie. And then Johnny kind of mans up and says, fuck it, I'm going in anyway. And we get a great series of dialogue with Daniel, Johnny, Daniel's wife, and Allie talking about the old days and how they were both dicks.
I got a hot take about it.
What do you got?
Now, I'm going to admit this. My favorite part of the movie was when, what's his name, Hawk?
Yeah, or of the show, Hawk, yeah.
Uh-huh. When he beat up the fat dude that was bullying him.
Okay.
That was my favorite part. But when I watched that part, and when I watched the part before, when they had him kick off the plant, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I don't know how much I don't know how much I believe in Kreese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it struck me that he's a strategist. He's not a fighter. He's a strategist. Because even when he went back and had to fight for his life, the only reason why he won was by stabbing dude.
Yep.
And when they fought at the end, the only reason why he was about to win was by about to be stabbing
him with the glass.
You know what I'm saying? So it struck me then when I was like, because when he invited the new kids,
where he invited the bullies.
Right, I like that. That's a good strategy. Stir these kids up. Let them know that they're not top dogs.
Right.
You gotta prove that you're top dog.
Well, and then they went and got Robbie. Right.
Well, see, exactly. But see, here's the thing, though.
By the way, can I pause real quick? Don't forget your thought. Robbie Keane is the son of the president and designated survivor, by the way.
Really?
He is.
I can see that. I can see that a bit.
He is. So he's Kiefer's son and designated survivor, which I just thought was funny. Because designated survivor's been off the air for a while.
You know, his mom or somebody is Filipino.
I mean, that makes sense because he doesn't look full white. He looks like he's got
Filipino.
a little...
He's Filipino and white.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, he looks full white to me, but I can see a little like something.
He got a little something in him. He got a little something in him.
Off about you. I have to smell him. What is that? No, I'm just But what I was saying was when they did that scene, immediately I was thinking, this is I was about to call him Lit. This is
from Shameless.
Well, no,
because of his
right.
Lip.
This
I
is
got you.
Hawk's opportunity to show the Asian dude he ain't playing right. But Kreese is that fucking strategist. He said, this dude right here, this big lineman, the strength dude, he's not what we thought he was going to be.
Right.
Because remember, he was going back through his old army days and was like, we need strength. Picked him. He wasn't the one. So instead of, remember, because he was picking who he wanted them to go up against. And I thought he was going to put Hawk up against the Asian dude.
Yeah.
See how I said Asian and not Chinese that time? I'm learning progression.
That's called a CYA move.
I'm great though. I'm great. But anyway, I thought he was going to put him up against them, but it wouldn't have made sense because then you're taking out one of your strongest people on the other side.
Well, you're taking out one of your two strongest.
Right. Or like the newbie is either going to lose, which is one of your strongest newbies, or he's going to lose, which is your strongest fighter on your team currently.
Yeah.
So he put the dude to prove himself against the dude that he knew would beat the fat, chubby white dude. Because he knew that Chinese dude would beat him.
Yeah.
He was a wrestler.
Right.
You feel me?
Wrestlers don't go.
When has a wrestler ever lost to a dude that does karate? Never, ever. Name it, ever. I don't care if it's Mr. Miyagi. Never, ever.
I am with you though. The fact it's funny you say that, like, because that was another great flashback scene, like where they kind of show him taking them down, like.
Yeah,
fantastic. The flashbacks in the show were perfect.
But listen, so when Hawk went up against the dude, he was already gonna put him up against him because what he wanted him to do was show the Chinese dude, yeah, you're hot, but you're not my leader.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? He's still my leader. He's still the guy that's leading the shit.
And then Hawk. Yeah.
And he did his thing because listen, and I loved it so much because you have to prove a point. You feel what I'm saying? He didn't kill the boy. He hurt him pretty bad.
He did.
Didn't kill the boy, but that boy was a bully. True. Bullied him long before he learned karate.
Right.
Give him a reason never to bully somebody ever again.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did.
You know, for somebody that says they don't like the show.
I like that scene. And that's when it all clicked to me like, oh, Kreese is a pussy. He just is a good strategist.
Well, yeah. And I mean,
I'm not going to say a pussy, but you know what I mean? Like, he's not legit skill so much as he's.
You see that in the flashbacks. And I think that was actually something they did really good with the flashbacks on him.
Of how they made him turn.
Right.
One decision because he was a good dude.
Right. And he was an honorable guy.
I'm not going to say he was a bad dude afterwards.
Right.
It was just what happened after you came back from that situation that made you so, you know what I mean? Because you're not at war anymore.
And I think that's what I'll be curious to see is, are they going to bring back his buddy?
Oh, you know they are.
Yeah. So is that who he called at the end? Was his buddy from the third movie?
He was looking at it. Wait, from the third movie? Who was that?
That's what I'm asking. Not the guy that was in the flashbacks. Do you remember the other sensei from the third movie? Kreese had a buddy, the one that was coaching Mike. The fighter's name was Mike Barnes that Daniel beat in the All Valley the second time. So
you talking about the dude with the buzz cut that played in?
No, so that's the student. That was Mike Barnes. That's who Daniel fights in the finale of the tournament. The dude with the long jet black hair and the ponytail that trained Daniel and Mike Barnes. So he trained Daniel when Miyagi said, I won't train you to fight this fight. So in the third movie, the third Karate Kid movie.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Daniel says he wants to defend his title. And because Miyagi said basically that the only reason he let him fight in the tournament the first time was to protect himself and, shut Johnny down basically. He says he won't train Daniel for the second tournament in the third movie. And so Daniel goes to Cobra Kai, not with Kreese, because Kreese is kind of in the background somewhere. But there's a new dude, and I can't remember the character's name. I don't remember the actor's name. But he's got like jet black hair and a long ponytail. And he basically convinces Daniel to join Cobra Kai under him.
Is it the dude that played in Three Ninjas?
Maybe. That sounds familiar.
You know, I'm talking about the dude that led the thing that
I think you're right. And the only reason I can't confirm that is because it's been so long since I've seen Three Ninjas. But I'm with you in terms of he was kind of a generic bad guy.
I just know faces, and I think that face is striking me as familiar.
Right.
Maybe I have.
But anyways,
seen
I
that.
think that's the guy that shows up in season 4. And so the season basically ends with a massive fight at Daniel's house between the new Cobra Kai and Johnny's, what is it, the Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do. And what we end up with at the end of the massive fight is that Johnny and Daniel's dojos join forces to basically take down Cobra Kai in season 4. And so while I felt like that was a little much and a little cheesy, I loved it. Like, this whole show
I liked it.
It's campy, it's cheesy, and I love every fucking minute of it.
I liked it.
So that is our discussion of Cobra Kai season 3. I will probably cut this out and post it to the channel as just a separate video, but if you're watching this on that cutout, do us a favor, head over to Foolproof Network or Foolproof Entertainment Network on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. You can follow us at Foolproof Net on all those channels. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to Do Fools Agree. All right.
Okay, no, it's not the dude from
It's not the guy you thought it was.
No.
So what else you got, man? What else Oh, you know what we can talk about?
Well,
I got a question for you, Cliff.
ooh, she's bad. Who's this? What's this?
Oh, there was a
Karate
new
Kid.
girl.
Oh, this is Three Ninjas. Who is this? I don't remember her being in there. She probably 46. Everybody 46.
Probably my wheelhouse these days.
Listen, I'm not saying that.
So
She's probably a nice 46.
I do want us to talk a little bit about the fact that nobody circles the wagons like the what's the team's name, Cliff? And are you going to be this team's fan during the playoffs? Just
Circles wagons? Who's circling wagons? What does that even fucking mean? I'm not even sure my kind was allowed on these wagons they're circling, and if they were, it was an all-black wagon, and y'all was circling it. I kicked you right in the nuts with that one. That was a low blow.
I mean, Cole Beasley might agree with you, but I don't think Stephon Diggs would.
But what does that? Where does that come from?
You know, I think that's an old-timey term, like Oregon Trail type shit.
Yeah, we about to circle
we were
the
racist,
wagon.
but it wasn't against blacks because this was the North. And so it was more against the Native American population than it was the blacks.
But were the Indians on wagons?
No, that's why we had to circle the wagons around them.
Oh, circled. Oh, I thought they were circling wagons.
No, honestly, I think the term circle the wagons was how those caravans that were taking the Oregon Trail, I think that's how they made camp. Is they would basically use the wagons as a barrier around the camp.
But how does that translate to
I don't fucking know. I'm making shit up here.
I mean, you sound dead on with that.
That's the saying. We could also go with the
circle the wagons came from when people parked there.
We could also go with the Lionel Richie, the Bills make me want to shout.
You still alive?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have an answer there. But anyways, Josh Allen and the Bills are taking on the Indianapolis Colts this weekend. 1:00. Go Bills. Wanted to throw that out there. So who we got, Cliff? Who's your take to win the AFC? Since your boys didn't make it.
I mean, I think y'all got the Colts.
I hope so.
Yeah,
honestly, as long as the Bills win a game, I'll be happy. I would like for them to actually make it to the Super Bowl. It's
up to you and the Chiefs, I feel like.
And honestly, if we're playing the Chiefs in the AFC title game, I'm gonna feel good with the result either way. I will be upset if they lose, but
I feel like it's you and the Chiefs. If I'm being honest with you, no hater shit.
I feel like the Bills are just such a fucking hot team right now, man. Like they have.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt you beating them, but then who would come out of the NFC? Tampa.
I mean, here's the problem: is that the NFC, dude. Can
if
I
it's
tell
Tampa,
you?
I think y'all got that.
Can I tell you how much it would mean to me if it's Bills, Buccaneers, Super Bowl, and we beat fucking Tom Brady?
I think
to win
y'all
the
got
title?
that. I think y'all got. If it was, well, I listen. Let's not. I got what's it called? Let me not Takashi myself.
What are you saying?
I was about to say, I just may have a app that I only use in Indiana.
I believe this is a sports entertainment app.
Right? Right. And all I'm saying is I would bet on that. If it was Bucks Bills, I'm putting my money on the Bills.
Yeah, man. Dude,
I am doing that.
Bills,
Even as much as I don't like them, I'm putting my money on the Bills if it's Bucks Bills.
So did you see what I posted earlier today? So the New York Times does basically kind of a weekly or daily email that kind of just covers the top topics that are going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was towards the bottom, but it was, which team should you root for if you don't already have one that's in the playoffs? And I think this is for executives who maybe don't pay attention to football, but their clients might, or those types of things. The Buffalo Bills are a good option. Buffalo, which hasn't won a title in more than 50 years, loves its Bills.
Y'all ever won a title?
They may have won something AFL or ABA way back when.
Okay.
The young quarterback Josh Allen makes for great television with deep throws and bruising runs, as our colleague Benjamin Hoffman said. It's hard not to pull for the Bills. The Bills are America's team right now. We need an underdog story. The Bills are the underdog story of the last 3 decades. If you don't have a team to root for this offseason, root for the Bills, because no one circles the bandwagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Listen, the Buffalo Bills were the people breaking into the Capitol.
I did see the guy with the bullhead, the dude that looked like he was doing some Assassin's Creed Valhalla cosplay.
In red, white, and blue face paint.
See,
that was probably Josh fucking Allen himself.
That wasn't Josh Allen. It might have been Cole Beasley. I might give you Beasley on that one.
Listen,
Josh Allen's a little bigger than that dude was.
But you're right in the sense of Buffalo is America's team. In America's rushing the Capitol building. That's right. But listen,
how dare you, sir? How dare you?
I hope there's no connections to Super Bowls if you win it.
Oh man. So I'm hoping that's gonna happen. This is our year. I feel like 35 is gonna be a good year for me, and let's do it.
That's what's up.
All right. Hey, do you want to take a quick break, or you want to cover for a minute? Your choice.
What you got, piss or something? Let's take a quick break.
All right, we'll be back in about 2 minutes here on Do Fools Agree. We'll be back in just a minute.
I know I bitched out. It's all right.
It's all right.
that idea.
So hold on,
Wait.
I'm saying we came back and the audio was fucked up. So you like the idea of us talking about? Let's get back in the conversation around. What are we going to talk about for the rest of the time? We had originally talked about. Let's talk about kind of what was.
Are we on right now?
1. We are now.
Okay.
So they didn't actually hear your whole panic attack, which is fine.
I'm glad. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, goodness. So, I think originally our topic was going to be...
Coolest panic attack you ever seen.
Coolest panic attack you ever seen. Or, what are our favorite moments of season 1? When I killed Cliff, or somebody killed Cliff. I don't know.
You're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. Yes, you're. Oh, he's a fucking idiot.
This is why we love doing shows together.
He's a fucking idiot. What in the fuck?
You didn't like how smooth that transition was to get us back on topic? Fuck you.
No.
What's
shit. No, I didn't. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. Oh, man. Okay, time out. Where are we at? What's going on?
Put the game down, flip it, and reverse it. It's playing it.
I'm done. Oh, shit.
So
what were we talking about?
Clifford, we have about 40 minutes left in the show. That's what we're talking about. So I think originally what we had talked about is this being a time for us to kind of reflect on the last year.
Right.
And do we want to talk about kind of what our favorite moments of our first season, our only season from the Citadel Studios? Do we want to reflect on that, or do we want to save that for next week? And if we want to save it for next week, the fuck are we going to talk about for another 40 minutes as we're sipping a couple brews on my birthday here?
Well, listen, I don't, well, let me just say this. If you asked me what my favorite moments were of this year, I would need about a week to go back through all the shit. I wouldn't even...
Like, you don't have anything. So I guess the way I would frame it is, what are the memorable things from our first year of doing this show?
Memorable.
So memorable meaning you remember them.
Memorable.
Me getting completely smashed the episode Mel was here and not being able to
memories. Memory glands.
No, that's something else, Clifford.
Okay. Favorite memories. Well,
I think we've only had a couple sets of those on, and one of them was your mom. So
they had to be. You watch your memory mouth, sir.
Love you, Janine.
I didn't know it had to be on the show.
No, I'm talking about our show, Mr. Jennings. Sorry.
I thought we were talking about keep it on topic because that one girl from Cobra Kai has some memories on her.
Are we talking about the main... The problem is, so I think the actress is almost 30, so it's not bad, but like the character is like 17.
Who you talking about?
Are we talking about the main girl?
I'm talking about the girl that went to juvie.
Oh, on the Cobra Kai side? Okay. I think that's actually the same situation. I think they're both almost 30 and they're playing like 17-year-olds.
Over. That's a fact, Jack. And let me say this. I forgot to say this.
What's that?
LaRusso was either pregnant filming this or they did one of those reverse film joints. You know what I mean? Where they filmed the action scenes first and then the talking, like the other scenes, because she's thick. When she got kicked in the stomach by the chick with the memories, I was like, oh, she's losing that baby. All right. She just got a production abortion.
Honestly, I like that body type. And it's the same body type that like Gina Carano has right now. Like Gina Carano's built like that.
I
right
love
now.
her.
Oh,
I love her.
dude, when she was fighting was one thing, but like her body type in The Mandalorian, where she's like, she's thick, like she's thick, and I can dig it.
Well, I need to see
I would
what
let
kind
her
of
take
thick
me
you're
down.
talking about. Because the way you just rolled your shoulders made me think a different kind of thick than
Oh no,
I'm
she's.
thinking.
I mean, she looks thick up top, but she like the way she's built. The way she's built below the waist is what I'm into. So.
Was she?
I mean, she's like, she's built, yo.
She's
Like
been
I don't know how to say it.
She's been at that. Oh, you are trying to murder your guy this evening. Oh man. Okay. What were we talking about?
I don't know. And
Before the memories.
Hold on, I'm getting some comments that like people can't hear us, but it looks like we're capturing audio on our side, so that's where I'm not. Give me 1 sec. Let me confirm. Hey, if you can hear us out in the chat, give us a shout, just so we can confirm.
Well, I hope we're at least capturing it on our side.
I mean, it looks like we are, but.
Oh man. I hope so, because that was hilarity.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's recording. Ashley's letting us know that she can't hear us, so maybe my mom's message just came in late from when we couldn't hear it anymore. Anyways, so yeah, what do we got to talk about? I mean, are we going to talk about kind of what we liked out of our first? Here's the deal: is that next week will be the end of our first year. Next week will be episode 52. Do we want to save that conversation for then?
That's not the anniversary?
I would say that is the anniversary is next week. Although I think technically the problem is that because we started, I want to say we started on the 20-something. So the anniversary actually happens between next week's show and the following week's show. So next week's show is episode 52. The following week is episode 53.
Oh, because of leap year.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, do you have anything to talk about this episode, or do you want a week to look at it, Cliff? Or can you go off of memory? Memory, as you were saying.
I'm just trying to motorboat my memories. And right now.
So what were your favorite memories of 2020?
I mean, you got to go with the first episode, Democrypting. You already know
it's up there. That's definitely up there.
But that's about, I mean, that just for, just for because that was the jump off. You feel what I'm saying?
True. So that
the
Democrypting Republic of Bloodin', that was the first one. And
right,
I
the
felt
launching point.
It was funny that we didn't want to talk politics at all, and that was our first episode.
It's funny. They were right back around talking to this about the goddamn shit.
No doubt. Uncle Dan chiming in with one of his was Cliff going down.
Oh, out the chair. I forgot all about that. My pop's falling asleep on the pod.
That was pretty good too.
Shit, he sparked up. When he sparked up in the house,
we were like, fuck it. It's Cliff's
that
dad.
was funny.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I think so the one that I remember the most is definitely the Floyd episode, which is our most viewed episode.
That was a good one. That was just good conversation.
It was.
Good, not necessarily like a good conversation, because it wasn't, like literally wasn't a good conversation, but it was a good meeting of minds.
Agreed.
I'll say.
I think the other one that kind of stood out for me is I really liked having your brother on. Like it,
Chris.
Yeah, I thought that was a good episode, and
he's been asking to come back.
So I think we could definitely kind of work that out. I think I like that one, and then I feel like there's another one that I'm forgetting, and I'm with you. Like I might have to go back through. To your point, we might have to go back through and kind of look at them and see kind of what those big ones were.
I liked. Well, see, this is the thing. I can't remember the episode, but I liked having Jake on.
Yeah, that was a good episode too.
Even though the audio fucked up once again. Get your shit together, guy.
Well, the problem is that I drink too much.
And I'm not mad at you. And I'm not mad at you for that. I expect that. If you didn't, I'd be upset. But you're supposed to be Josh Allen. And right now I can't be D.
Well, I'm Josh Allen year one. Like, you have to remember, Josh Allen wasn't great his rookie season.
Okay, baby. Fools agree.
Give me
Fools
another
agree
year.
on that.
Right, thanks.
All right. Okay, I like that.
Let's see.
I'm trying to think too.
I think the episode where we did the 90s nostalgia, I feel like that one was pretty good too. Like, anytime we get back into like talking about like 90s songs and shit, like our favorite playlists.
Was
and that
anybody
kind of stuff.
on that episode?
I feel like Aaron was on that one, but maybe not. That's the one that kind of sticks out. And I think all right, we won't talk specific episodes. Let's talk repeat guests that have been on more than once. So I would almost call those co-hosts. Who are our favorite guest co-hosts?
I haven't had him in a while, but I fucks with my guy Jay.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's
He hasn't even popped up in chat recently. We might have to check, make sure he's all right.
Yeah, definitely. Malk ain't been in there either, huh?
I think Malk is ashamed right now. Your FB and Little Nuts, he's ashamed of the fact that he couldn't make it last week. For the New Year's episode. So,
right. Fuck him and Alexis.
Right?
with love. Fuck you both.
With love.
with love. But fuck you. That means that's Tinder. That's Tinder. That's not
Tinder.
rough.
That's Tinder.
That's...
Oh wait, you said tender, not Tinder. Oh shit.
Oh man.
So all right.
Oh yeah.
You go.
I forgot.
Jay. What? You go with Jay for
I forget.
Repeat.
I'm not gonna say I forgot. I guess I gotta say I forgot. I forgot all about Michelle and Chauncey. That was a great episode.
Here's what I would say is
I
agree with you on the episode, but if we're talking about guest co-host, they wouldn't qualify.
That's more right. That's
they would qualify for the one-time guest.
Right.
But I agree. I think the Michelle and Chauncey episode overall was fantastic. I think it went a little off the rails at the end, but that's typical. So you say you like it when Jay's on. I mean, when I think about co-hosts, I think Aaron probably fits the vibe of the show the best. I like having Matt on, so those two would be in my top 3.
I like Matt.
Yeah.
Matt has been on it so long, I forgot all about Matt too. I like having Matt too.
Well, and he's been busy, so we'll get him back on in season 2. I do think
get him back on now that COVID's died down.
Right.
God damn, Mr. Statistics. Now you want to talk about that man is real anal. You know what I'm saying? The fuck.
I think the one that I would say that is probably my favorite repeat guest is Luke. I love
Luke.
Love when Luke comes on the show. And Jeff I would disqualify because he has his own show now. Now. So I think that those are my favorite repeat guests. Now, let's talk a little bit about like our one-time guest, somebody that we only had on the show once. Go.
Well, I feel like we kind of bled from that into host back into that because we did name my little brother and Jake.
True. In terms of our favorite episodes.
Okay, so that's what that was. Okay.
So we had a favorite episode, a favorite co-host, somebody that was on multiple times. Who's our favorite one-time guest?
Okay.
I mean,
my mom.
Your mom is up there, and Michelle and Chauncey are up there. Like between those two, I don't know that I can pick. But
I can pick my mammy.
Well, you can. I might have to give it to Michelle and Chauncey.
Well, 1-1, we even, baby. We need a tiebreaker.
So there you go. There's our any other. I'm trying to think what else we could ask. We said favorite episode, favorite host or co-host, favorite guest.
After you finish that, I got something I want to say too. And this is for the future.
Okay, and I think my only other one that I would ask is favorite favorite topic, favorite thing that we've discussed on this show.
That's a great question.
Memorable thing that we've discussed on the show.
Most memorable, fucking ask Matt.
Right.
Nah, I'm just playing. It's always COVID though. That's gonna be what it is. Like,
you think it's COVID?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Like, just because it popped its ugly fucking head into at least 10 episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least. But as far as like memorable, like what I like to talk about the most, I've been having fun with the holiday episodes, to be honest. Like
in terms of the Foolish Origins. And,
yeah, all that. Like all that was kind of fun.
That was fun. That was more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I did too.
Uncle Dan chiming in with his favorite topic or segment has been Fooligins. So
yeah, I think we're gonna keep it going, baby.
We'll have to bring that back outside of holiday context.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but it started before holiday context.
I guess it did. Yeah, it did. It was like right before.
Uh-huh.
So I can support that. I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
I will say that I think the most fun conversation we've had has been a lot of the stuff that we've talked about, and we did it tonight. Like the stuff about Cobra Kai has been fun because I feel like we both like it, even though you say you don't. I feel like we both had good things to add there.
I mean,
whereas I feel like
I'm not gonna say I don't like it. What I'll say is I wouldn't watch it if it wasn't homework.
Something we were talking about,
right?
But
I don't mean it like homework, like in the literal sense, like here we got it, you know. But I mean, like since we're talking about it, I gotta watch it, and I always gotta be prepared. So I'm gonna watch the whole season.
Right, but I do think that that's one that we've had good dialogue on. Like when we talk about a lot of the entertainment stuff that we've talked about, I feel like that's the one where we've had the best dialogue on it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But what I will say is the way it ended, I am kind of looking forward to. I probably wouldn't need your help watching season 4.
Okay.
Right. I probably once I seen a new episode on it, I'd probably click on it.
Yeah.
Regardless of if it was a topic.
If it was a topic or not. I think that. So I will expand the Cobra Kai talk to. I think our what are you watching on streaming has been a good bit for the show. Like it's not something we do every week, but we do it every couple weeks. Like what are you watching? Like especially during these COVID times, like. Because I will tell you, I've at least started watching at least half or more than half of the shows you've recommended. And whether or not I finished them is a different conversation, but I at least gave them an opportunity because you recommended them, and I hope our guests have done the same. So, all right, last one. Who's our favorite commenter? Somebody that never comes on the show but is in the chat perennially.
I think he's
Is he the one chatting in tonight?
I would imagine so,
We
right?
think it's Uncle Dan.
Right, period.
We'll give
What do
Uncle
you
Dan the
mean?
props there. All right, I can give
Got
Uncle Dan the
to.
props there.
I would definitely do that.
Good shit. All
Next
right.
year, though, I would like to be more prepared.
What do you mean? More prepared for what?
For this specific episode. And I would like to do it like an award show.
I think that's fair, and I could get behind that, and maybe do like a we'll put polls out either on Twitter or Facebook and have people vote.
I mean, if you'd like to take it that deep,
I would.
If we are
But we've got to get to 100 subscribers before I'm willing to put my time into that.
If not, I would just like to do it between us and send out prizes, whether it be
Shirts or whatever.
Shirts, candles, whatever the case.
Sketches.
Oh, speaking of, I made your birthday present for the studio. Aww. And I fucked it up.
Damn it. Son of a bitch.
I'll show it to you, but I fucked it up.
That's all right.
I caught myself putting the design in the background, and it leaked through to the actual.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. We'll figure it out. Oh, I will. So, just a quick shout out in the chat. My mom chiming in with favorite things: Cliff's various drinking instruments.
And it's only gonna get better and more ridiculous next year, folks. Tune in.
If anybody's looking for gifts for us, I would love a beer mug with the Foolproof Entertainment or the Do Fools Agree logo on it. Just saying.
Did you do that? Is that possible?
Oh yeah, you can etch a logo on something. Absolutely.
With color?
Yes, absolutely. Now, I can't tell you how many times you can wash it before it goes away if you put it in like a dishwasher. But if you wash it by hand and just wash the inside, it should be fine.
And just the outside around the...
Yeah. So if anybody's looking for a gift...
I'm about to look into that myself. Where do you go to get that?
I think you can do that kind of stuff on... I'm sure there are sites like Things Remembered or whatever can probably do that kind of shit. Oh man! All right. So, what was the topic you wanted to get into, Mr. Jennings?
What topic?
I thought you said you wanted to talk about something. One more thing before we wrap up the show tonight. Maybe not. Maybe you. Am I wrong? People out in the chat, let me know.
I don't think you are. I just don't know what that would have been. After all of that,
I don't know. There's nothing else you wanted to talk about? Here I was. I thought you were ready to save us for the last 20 minutes of the show.
Is that we got 20 on them?
We're at 145. So, honestly, if we were to cut it now, it wouldn't be terrible. But we usually go about 2 hours. So
well, pump your brakes, ladies and gentlemen.
If you want to hop on the show for the last 20 minutes, feel free to give us a call. If you've got my number or Cliff's number, we can add you to the Zoom. So let us know.
I mean, that could be the case.
Ashley, if you're out there, we'd love to have you on.
What was I about to say?
I don't know. You tell me.
You know what though? Before I do say anything, give me 1.5.
I will give you 1.5, which is more generous than you were willing to give to me, Mr. Jennings. But that's all right. So while we're sitting here, kind of contemplating the last couple episodes, I guess I will reach out to the chat and see. If there's anything we missed, what are things that you enjoyed? We've got a couple of you that have been with us relatively consistently over the last 51, 52 episodes. I will tell you that our episode next week will be the first out of our new studio. Still trying to figure out how we're going to lay that out, but it'll be similar to the existing format. We've got some new furniture coming in, new wiring and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, everything goes as planned over the next week in terms of the move. In which case, we will have stuff ready to go. Um, I just want to thank everybody for the last year's worth of support. I know that there are plenty of options when it comes to streaming content. I am very grateful for the 56, 57 subscribers we've got on on YouTube, the 50 or so we have on Facebook. Just overall, very grateful for everybody that has liked, subscribed, shared, all that good stuff in terms of at Foolproof Net. We are trying to grow the Foolproof Entertainment Network. And I think that that's actually a good way for us to segue into our final topic for the evening is Mr. Jennings. We are talking about launching a sports show. You want to talk about it a little bit in terms of what we're hoping to do there and kind of who you're thinking about it's going to be involved? I know we're having offline conversations, but let's put it out there in the atmosphere, put that out in the universe and see if there are folks that would be interested. Go ahead. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely can. That definitely seems like that would be the right time. So yeah, we're putting together a sports network. I don't want to name any names yet that haven't already been confirmed. So, uh, FB Malcolm, my son, will be involved. I have a couple people on the co-hosting tip that will be involved. I'm sure you'll see a lot of air in all of them. But my father will most likely be involved on the boxing end of things. And there's a few other people that may or may not have been on the show. But the rest I won't name just because I don't know exactly if that's really, going to be the case yet. But the idea is that it would end up being sort of like an ESPN type of situation to where there would be, I would go as far as to say, even 8 to 10, maybe no more than 12 people involved, different panels on different sports, but anybody can, of course, log in. So, say you got 4 people for basketball, 4 people for football, 4 people for fight sports, 4 people for whatever else the case may be, baseball, whatever. And they would host the shows in their seasons. Other people would be able to jump in that are involved in the network, and it would basically be so you wouldn't have to be so devoted per week to be involved.
So
So if there were,
the thought that I think you shared with me, Cliff, is that you could get done watching whether it's a series of games or a single game and say, "Hey, I want to hop on and talk about this for 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever the case is." And they would have a network of people they could basically text out to that says, "Yeah, I can hop on right now," or "No, I can't."
right
And then we can
now,
jump on and say, "Hey, we've got the foolproof. We'll figure out the name, whether it's foolproof sports talk, foolproof locker room talk, foolproof sports, whatever we land with." But the idea is that a group of people can jump on, talk about something that's going on in sports, talk about a specific game, and then be able to say, "Hey, here's my thoughts on it," etc. Anything else you want to add on kind of that take?
no, I mean that's
That's it.
exactly correct. The only thing that I would say about it is that if for this to work successfully, it would take people that were really seriously interested in doing it. Of course, you would have to have a laptop, whether it be a microphone or a Xbox headset with the built-in microphone on it. Something more than just your computer screen.
I would agree with that.
Um,
So what I would say is minimum requirements if you're interested in being a part of these discussions would probably be a laptop, a hardwire connection, and a headset with first of all, a laptop with a webcam and a headset or a USB microphone.
And then I see having Zoom meetings for training on how to work the site itself, so we don't need Mike or I to produce. If you want to go live at any given time, you can do it yourself. So out of those four, so as I see it, out of the four panelists for each individual sport, there would need to be at least two people that knew how to produce that program if someone needed to go live. That way, if one was not available, the other could hop on.
I think that's fair. And so that's something that we're willing to kind of coach through. And, you know, we may have a conversation about dues to foolproof, but the end of the day is we do want to create a content network. We want to create a network of multiple shows. We already are starting to branch out with obviously Mind and Body Understanding with Jeff Farian. That'll be one that I will produce the first couple of episodes for, and then we'll work with Jeff on kind of future episodes. Obviously, we want to get this Foolproof Sports thing off the ground, and I think Cliff and I both have other ideas for shows that we'll continue to speak about. But I think when we start to talk about this, remember, the whole idea behind launching Do Fools Agree last year at about this time was that we wanted to build a network. And that's why the YouTube channel is not the Do Fools Agree channel. It is the Foolproof Entertainment Network channel. And so what you will start to see from us in 2021 is at least 2 or 3 shows, if not more. We've got the Mind and Body Understanding. We've got Do Fools Agree. Those 2 shows will continue into 2021. We want to launch the Do Fools or the Foolproof Sports Talk, or
Ain't no want to, baby. We will.
We will. And there's probably 1 or 2 other shows we want to launch. So if you're interested in being part of this journey of creating a regional network, and that's what I mean by all of this. My goal with launching Foolproof Entertainment Network was not just doing 1 show, not just doing 2, but launching a regional network of shows here in 2020, 2021, 2022, launching a regional network where, one, we can create what cable did for television. We want to be able to create that for podcasts. So, Cliff, you got something else to add there?
Of course. This email here, is this I know it's safe for the YouTube chat, but is that an accessible email?
That is. So if anybody is interested in joining us, go ahead and shoot us an email at the email on screen. For anybody that's listening on the podcast version, that is foolproofentertainment@gmail.com.
And for anyone who may be interested in joining the network in general and launching their own podcast with their own ideas. Listen, motherfuckers ain't trying to control nothing that anybody's trying to do here. If you'd like to potentially jump on the network and it seems like it'd be a good fit, shout us a holler, done.
Well, and honestly, I appreciate you.
Shout a holler, done.
I appreciate you kind of framing it up that way. I mean, our goal is the YouTube channel is where we will host all of the video, and then we are willing to help you or help set you up with your own podcast channel. So that's something that I'm willing to kind of help set you up with. And if it's something you want us to manage, great. We can talk about splits on revenue on that, and that's something you can reach out to us about. But the flip side of it is, it's creating a coalition of folks that are based in, let's say, a tri-state or quad-state or quadruple or quintuple state area here in the Midwest, whether it's Ohio, Indiana, New York, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, West Virginia. Anybody that's interested in starting a channel or starting their own show, feel free to reach out to us. I mean, if it's something we feel fits with our mission, we're happy to help. The flip side of it is if it isn't, I'm still willing to have the conversation to help you figure out how to say it.
Listen, I don't mind promoting something that I don't necessarily believe. If it's interesting, I'm with it. But you know what the funny thing is this nigga you, I'm talking about you said talking about revenue splits. Listen, there ain't no revenue splits right now. If
Right.
you're coming in at this moment, it's for the love of the game.
It is.
You're doing it because you want to do it. We'll talk about that shit when that shit come. Right now, it's just about you wanting to be involved and get your
Absolutely.
voice out. And we just may have an avenue or a lane for that to be possible.
Absolutely.
Shot us a holler, done.
Oh man, so that is kind of the vision for as we head into 2021. You know, we've got our anniversary episode next week. Will be week 52 or episode 52.
Is that in the new spot?
That will be in the new spot, and you might have to come up. We might have to go back to in person for that one.
I'll be there.
Assuming the next week goes smoothly. So if the
I'll
next
be
week
there. I
goes
won't be
smoothly,
square.
you will. I mean, you're only like 8 blocks away at that point, so I hope you can make it. And I need your help. You're coming over on Sunday to help me set shit up. So anybody else that wants to come help set shit up, give me a call. I'm gonna be building furniture all day Saturday and Sunday, and moving boxes all day Monday, Tuesday. So anybody wants to help, give me a call.
Listen, if I'm helping move shit, I'm driving my car over there and riding with you.
That's fine. That's fine. We can take. I mean, that's the whole reason I bought the Explorer, man. Is that we could load that bitch up. Let's go.
Listen, my shit ain't running the best to be making hell.
I mean,
guess
honestly,
it ain't
you
that
could
far
walk.
away, though.
You could walk to my house. Like
it ain't that far away.
It's less than a mile. I believe. At most, it's like a mile and a half. I think it's less than a mile, though, and I might have to prove that tomorrow.
And let's keep it a buck. Unless I take the scenic route, the mile that I gotta walk through, I'm gonna have to have protection on me.
Right. You're probably right on that side. You're probably right. All right, man. We're at about 2 hours. Anybody else in the chat, if they have anything to chime in, feel free to chime in. I do think that I'm willing to stay on for probably another 20 minutes. We'll pop open the cell phone post show. So if you got my cell phone number,
I didn't talk to you anyway.
It will be the meeting ID will be my cell phone number. The password will be lowercase fools. If you don't have my cell phone number, but you have Cliff's, feel free to text him. I'm sure he'll give it to you. And with all of that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Do Fools Agree, episode 51. Cliff, as always, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate having you as my co-host, my friend, my confidant. I appreciate all of that.
My brethren.
My brother. With all of that, anything you got to take us out, sir?
Love everybody. You know what I mean?
And back to that. I love it.
I mean, I've been saying that. Let's stop it. What I will say is, it's funny how after 52 episodes, me saying love everybody seems to come full circle. Because when I say love everybody, I don't mean the people that are around you most.
Right.
Those are the people that are easiest to love. Right. What I mean are the people, and I don't even mean to make a joke, that break into the Capitol building. Because the bottom line is, you both may think the same and speak two different languages, but you don't want to instantly jump to conclusions as to specifically why someone is doing something just because in these past 14 months we've been so divided by politics and race.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It doesn't make sense to do that, and that's not spreading love. Now, I'm not going to act like anything is right or correct, but at the same time, I'm not going to say it's wrong because it's not my job to judge.
Right.
I'm not God, and by this nation's standards, I don't have the degrees to be able to pound my gavel. So I'll never be the one to be like, fuck that terrorist or that man. Leave that to them to do that. But what I will say is, I love you too. And maybe if I knew why you felt that way, I may break in that bitch with you. And I'll end it on that.
And I think I will end it with seek to understand where people are coming from, seek to understand how they or why they believe what they believe. I think with all of that, as always, I am Michael Reggie at The Geeky Coach. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and check us out at FoolproofNet and all major social media networks. And with that, peace out, fools. We appreciate you. Take it easy.
We out, fools. And your mother's respect.